Global expatriates are turning their back on traditional city hubs like London, Paris, and Rome. That's according to an InterNations survey. So where are they heading instead? Joining us now to discuss is Bloomberg News' personal finance editor and reporter, Charlie Wells, who's joining us live from London. Charlie, you are still in London. You have not abandoned London as an expat. I want to get an understanding, though, of why more traditional expat hubs are no longer at the top of the list. Why are people leaving cities like where you are?
Yeah, Tim, you're exactly right. I'm here. I've been here for about 6 years now. I don't have plans to move, but I think a number of other expats here do. And I think that was one of the real surprises in this new survey that's come out. So just some background, it's by a group called InterNations. It's one of the largest expat communities in the world. They've got about 4 million expats on their platform. And what they did was they surveyed 15,000 different people in over 150 different countries, all expats, and asked them a number of questions about how satisfied they were with their finances, how happy they were, what they thought about their career prospects. And one of the shockers was that places like London, out of 66 cities, came in at 51st. Paris, I think anyone who's been watching Emily in Paris might be thinking about that as a next destination. That came in at 61st. And then out of 66 cities, Rome, which I think is a dream destination for a lot of people, came in at 65th, 65 out of 66, which is quite low. And I think one of the concerns that really kept coming across loud and clear in the survey was the issue of affordability.
Yeah.
So I think for a number of expats, it's all fine and well to be sent abroad, but then housing is such an issue in a number of these cities.
Yeah, these huge cities are seeing such an increase in the cost of living, and so much of that has to do with housing. One theme that really jumped out to me when I looked at this list, Charlie, was Spain, 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 and Spain. I mean, 4 of the top 10 cities where expats want to live are in Spain. They include places like Valencia, they include Alicante, Malaga, and then Madrid, of course, is the capital, the big city there. What's that telling you?
Right. Well, I'd love to be in Spain right now.
You and me both, friend.
I think a lot of people watching would be. And what really came across in the results from the expats who do live there was housing affordability. So, in my reporting, I spoke with an American expat. He spent 15 years living in London. He's very successful. He works as an executive in the music industry. But this year, he decided he'd had enough. And so he moved from London to Valencia, which is Spain's third largest city. It's got just under 1 million people. For those who don't know, it's built right on the Mediterranean. And this expat from London moves there. He's able to get an apartment. In London, he'd been spending just over $1,000 to share an apartment with 2 other people in a 3-bedroom. In Valencia, he's able to have his own apartment, 3 bedrooms, all to himself, while still, spending less, but still getting that kind of big city vibe that he also got in London.
Okay, so you've been in London for 6 years, Charlie.
Yep.
What has it been like over the last 10 months, well, I guess at this point, 11 months, as the COVID pandemic has played out? What's it like for expats?
I think it's difficult. And, we've seen in a number of stories that Bloomberg has written about that a lot of expats are sort of reevaluating what it means to be here. The equation has changed. Leisure activities that are so important for expats, are suddenly not an option. Work-life balance is suddenly different when, your home is your workplace. And so in conversations that I've had with expats here, there is, a lot of dissatisfaction. There's a lot of people sort of, readjusting how they think about life here.
Bloomberg News' personal finance editor and reporter, Charlie Wells, live from London. Charlie, great to see you. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.